Okay, it says you're live. Take two. And so, quick.
I'm here.
Okay, hi. Yeah, I see it. So, quick explanation to people who are watching. Last night I got fancy, and instead of doing the go live the way I normally do it, apparently you can set up a studio and preset the stream so that it'll happen automatically. So I spent a good hour setting it up perfectly with two different AIs telling me how to do it. So I had the technology down, but I'm 72 years old, so next time I'm going to have my buddy Punk to show me how to set it up, or I'm just going to do it caveman style. So, with that said, here we are. Welcome to my morning daily plan. Hope I didn't lose too many people. And quick overview of what's going on in case you've been sleeping in a cave. Um, let's go back to real quick Thursday and Friday sell off with the whole Iran war scare and MOPEX, whatever. And then kind of 6,000 was the battleground over the weekend. On Saturday, the 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 unknown became a known, or the sell the rumor, buy the news came in, and so we sold the rumor. We bounced right back down to 5,900. No coincidence. Market maker hedging basically required them, or you'd be a moron if you didn't. Monetize, uh, uh, monetize down at that level. Buy ES futures, lock in that price all the way down there, which is now that much higher, which they use to hedge on the way up. They don't just not taking the delta risk. But anyway, so that's what happened yesterday. Yesterday, once we kind of chopped around that 70 area, and as we said in our daily plan, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I will. As we said in our daily plan, if we got over 6,000, especially toward the end of the day, those 6,000 calls or 6,000 deltas would go from out of the money to in the money. They'd charm up to a one delta, which would send us up to 60.25, which is exactly what happened. Overnight, we got the fake ceasefire news, and apparently the market liked it. And the fact that Trump called out Netanyahu or Israel for violating it and called out Iran for violating it it seems to be, don't confuse me with the facts. And here we are.
Ask or not.
And here we are at 60, 70. And now let's talk about where we are, how we got there, and where we're going. But before I do that, let's point out the IC whale is back. Now, for those of you that don't know, let me see what I got in private chat. Okay, good morning. Okay, for those of you that don't know, the IC whale is somebody that I've been I've been following him and his pod around for years, as well as doing my own thing, and more will be revealed on that one. There'll be some announcements about that, something I have coming up, but that's down the road. So yesterday we had realized volatility greater than implied volatility. So some people might call that an outside day. However you want to call it, that triggers for some people a systematic, mechanical sell 20 delta put and call 5 wide, ends up being about a third to half the width of the spread. That triggered, and that ended up being the IC whale position at 60, 55, 60, I believe, on the call side, which is now okay, I should have had it written out like that, which is now, here's the IC whale call. So now those calls are in the money. So right now the whale is harpooned. And so am I, because I did a few of them. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. I can manage it 16 ways till Tuesday. It's only 2 or 3 contracts. It's not 20. And on the bottom, 58.85. It looks like I didn't get the string to say exactly what I wanted it to say, but that's all right. Um, the TV string, I just type in the words and I tell ChatGPT to make the lines I can stick in here. No algo secret sauce, no formulas, no. That's what it is. Okay, so let's go in here, and then Punk is going to talk in a minute. I'll introduce him or reintroduce him if you don't know him. And so here we are. Here's the complex. And oh yeah, also type comments, chat, whatever, like, retweet, repost, all that good stuff. Apparently that helps. So this is market maker position. Okay. So market maker. So real quick for those of you that are not familiar with what's going on, this is options depth. This is market maker positioning. Here's market maker long gamma, customer short. So basically lines to the right are stall zones. Lines to the left are acceleration, magnet, and drop. Here, market makers are adding liquidity, taking liquidity out as we go up, adding liquidity as we go down, and they become bounce zones. Here, they're competing with you for price, and they're going in that direction. So what lines do we have? 60, 55, 60, 65. So this zone was supposed to be resistance yesterday, but it turns out it's support, for lack of a better word. So let's go if then what happens. If SPX over 60, 70, whatever I said in my morning plan, if we're over here, and you see we have these two stally kind of nodes here, so we have this little choppy structure right here, from 60 to 75, we have this little choppy mess. So if over here, then as we approach 85, market makers have to sell. But then as we bounce down, they have to buy. And we only have to sell. And we have the buying from this big position here. So as we bounce down, they have to buy. So here's a big fat Greek dance between 55, 60, and 85. And you just kind of have to know where the little lines are and use your quantuition, use the numbers plus your gut, and kind of figure out what's going on. You see we got this little hole here at 80. That's going to matter. Kind of a resting spot maybe. If we get over 85 and can get out of the orbit of this thing, then we have 6100, the round number. And then we have some stally features up here at 25 going up to the top. To the downside, should the whale get spared? We have Powell today at 10 o'clock testifying at Congress. What could possibly go wrong? And so if Powell says something that the algos don't like, maybe the whale gets spared and me with it, and we go below 55 and we enter a nice chop zone here, which would be, I would much rather play in this playground. So a 50 to 6,000 wide chop zone with all these calls, all this, market maker long gamma here, because right now we're really far out of the money, so it doesn't have a lot of oomph. But if we come down toward it, it could. And then we have these little stall features, support, resistance, bounce, mean reversion areas in here. So if we get down below 55.50, we got this little fly thing at 45. We got this little 40 to 15 bounce area. So we have structures within structures, which is where you get your if-thens within if-thens, or zones within zones. Let me explain that once you're in a zone doesn't mean you're stuck in the zone for the rest of your life. You can easily start off the day here like we are, break below this zone here, end up breaking below here theoretically, and end up coming back in there. So they're zones that you almost think of as modular. Maybe that's a good way of explaining it to you kids. Think of it as modular. Okay. So now let's look at, okay, so let's talk about VIX. I mentioned in my note, oh, this is the wrong thing. Okay, that's an old one. Here it is. I mentioned in my note that we had a McMillan VIX buy signal. For those of you who aren't familiar with that or what that is or who he is, although I tweet it all the time, Larry McMillan was, at least in my estimation, coming up at the time, the options guru. Option Strategist was his book, came out in the late 90s or early 2000s. I grabbed a copy around 98 or 2000. And so he's the options guru, and he has all kinds of newsletters, all kinds of pre-packaged trades, very mechanical. And one of his mechanical trades is the VIX spike peak buy signal. And the VIX spike peak buy signal is real simple, so easy, even a caveman can do it. 3 points away from a local high, VIX closed below there, it's a buy. Local high was 22, 20, whatever, 21.97, 22. 3 points below is 19. VIX below 19. McMillan, according to him, not according to me, don't get mad at me, get mad at McMillan if you're a bear, is buy 30 DTE 15 wide at the money SPY. That's his mechanical trade. He's been doing it since the year 2000 or whatever it is. It wins whatever 80% of the time, whatever his numbers are, and he does it like a robot. It's mechanical. I've seen us miss the buy signal by like 3 pennies, and he doesn't do it. It's nuclear physics. It's that's the way it is. That's the way it is. I'm a little more quant-intuitive than that, but I'm just reporting the facts to you. Okay, so let's get back. Let's see where we are. Okay. Oh, good. This is what I wanted to see. Good. Let's change it back to candles. I think this is the right one. I got so many of these trading view things. Yeah, this is the right one. I have so many of these trading view things, and I don't always delete them the right way, whatever. And so here we are at 70. So we're at the inflection point. Reversal trigger maybe is the wrong word. Maybe call it pivot. We go up. We could stall at that 80 that I showed you. We topped out at 90 right before 6,100. Round number, no surprise. And if we get, the ICWL has his longs over here, so we can get sucked into that. We can maybe get into this choppy mess zone, and we can get down there. So that's basically what's going on here. I mentioned Powell. I'm not going to look through. Back in the day, I used to go through like the Mag 70 kind of names. I don't have time for that now. Maybe I'll be doing that with my private Substack subscribers. Also, a shameless plug. I'm doing a YouTube noon for private subscribers where we'll kind of figure stuff out. Okay. I don't see any comments from YouTube. If there's anybody on YouTube, let me know that you're alive. I don't see any comments from YouTube, and I don't see any comments from Twitter. Come on, folks. Give a brother a break. All right, with that, let me put my buddy Punk on. Oh, he's there. Go ahead. I'm going to get my stuff off the screen. I'm going to let you talk for a couple minutes and introduce yourself. Good morning. Okay, now we got some people.
Morning.
Go ahead.
Okay, hi. Yeah, hi, folks. So, I don't know if you know me. I know Doc knows me. So basically what Doc does is very simple. You guys know, quant tuition, all of that. He looks at the SPX gamma. He looks at where market makers are, which is what I used to do, and I still do, of course. What I also bring to the table is ES. Basically, I don't know if you guys know the Mancini method. So we basically play ES on a very, let's say, Doc used to say, and it's a very apt metaphor I used to say, where we throw a grenade, ES scalpers use a sniper rifle, which is a pretty good metaphor. So what we do is very simple. We look at very specific levels, and we kind of try to pick the spots of where is the best ES longs. So it could be way below, it could be a little less way below, depends on whether you're a cowboy. But the idea being is we use FBDs. So FBDs are the failed breakdowns, of course. So what that means is bear trap. So market will dump, we'll get to a previous important low, at which point market makers will flush that low. And then once we recover that low, that's the long trigger, that's the FBD. So of course, in order to play that, we need some kind of low, right? Which we don't have, at least today. So today,
Okay, so let me jump in here real quick. So I just put on the screen. He prepares this every day with the levels from Mancini and whatever other levels he comes up with. We're going to integrate gamma into this. We'll translate it,
yes,
whatever, and this will somehow be available sooner rather than later, depending on
yeah,
how quickly this millennial kid can get it figured out.
yeah. So we will share, of course, the link with you guys. So today, that was the little introduction, which is another way to say we had a big day yesterday with a level-to-level move. So when I say level-to-level, that's the one thing that's important that I forgot in the intro, is basically when we see that FBD I talked about earlier, that can guarantee to, let's say, 90% that at least we get a level-to-level move. So what that means is I go in long on size, we get the FBD gives me the level-to-level move. Depends on the context, the acceptance, the context, the speed. Then, of course, I will trim 75 of that big position that I put in at the first or second level up, leave runners, and that's it. And I just sit back until we get the next FBD. That's the whole system. So yesterday, of course, we got the big FBD, which is why I'm in runners. We got the big FBD on futures open, right? So then we got a crazy pump, if you remember, if you're following the story. I trimmed most of my position even before Monday open, as per my system that I just talked about. Let the runners take care of the trend. And then futures open, we got, as Doc said, we got the new tentative peace between Israel and Iran. And that means that for us, until we dump, there's no major things to do. So right now, if you're looking at the chart, I got my maps, I got my zones mapped, I got everything ready in case we get a dump, which we haven't. We very well might. That's why I screamed, we very well might, because this might be a fake out, because as Doc says, this might be fake peace. We've had what you would call it, violations from both sides. So, keep your ears peeled. So to me, it's a no play zone for now. We open in
Okay.
30. Yeah.
And let me jump in there. So if there's no trade, there's no trade. You don't force the trade. And somebody says voice is too low. Is that my voice or Punk?
Should
Sammy said, huh?
is it good? Is it better
I don't know.
now?
Somebody said voice is too low. I'm trying to find out who it is. Anyway, hopefully you guys can hear us now. Thanks for the little intro. I'm gonna get this Mancini stuff off my screen and go back to.
Yeah, so just to finish up what I said, for me it's a no play until we get under 60/60 ES, basically. You're free to use the chart. It updates every day with the newsletter. And that's pretty much for me today. Not much to
Okay,
it
great.
today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Okay. Um,
Go ahead and mute me, because I think my wife is coming back now with the kids.
okay. We
I
don't
don't
want to hear
want
your
to.
wife yelling at you in a French accent. Okay. All right. And so here we are, stalling in the chop zone. Um, Okay, now full disclosure, you know me, guys, I'm transparent. So I followed the IB Wales, I'm the IB Wales, the IC Wales mechanical trade, and I went a little further away, and so below 60, I'm a genius, and above 60, I'm a putz. I'm skewered. That's okay. Now, shame on me, quote unquote. Yesterday, when we were building this out, I had pointed out that one could buy a 50-55, whoops, at the time, it was like a buck and a quarter, and that would save a world of pain in case this happened. And I think I might have even put it in and canceled. Let's take a look. Did I put it in and cancel? No. I just built it. I didn't send it. So anyway, that's what we got here. So what might I do? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm pretty nimble. It's only a couple of contracts. I'm not really scared. You know, easy thing would be to do something like that. But I don't know if I want to add exposure there like that. I don't know. I'll see. Fly it like this, maybe. Then you gotta make it wide. I don't know. From right here, right now, there's nothing elegant, so I'm just gonna have to see. Of course, the put side, I'm a genius, so I'm just gonna get rid of the puts and do this. This is more position. I mean, yeah, I might lose 800 bucks or 600 bucks. I doubt it. I kind of trust my nimbleness, but this is not my main trade. My main trade is going to be 10 to 20 iron condors where they really matter. But let's say, okay, all that said, Doc, great, big deal. What have you got for me lately? Let's pretend that's not there. What would you do now? Good question. Since I have my real account, this is just a retirement account I mess around in, a small retirement account. Um, what would my real trade be? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Non-investment advice. Just you watching me think out loud. All right, so we got this stuff over here. 61 over 61.25 would be nice. Probably not much juice up there, but let's just kind of use that as one marker. On the bottom, 6,000 would be nice. Let's use that. I don't know. Okay, what are the IC whale levels for today? Okay, so IC whale levels are short 60. He's short, market maker long 60-55, long 60-60, 5 wide. You see some 10 wides. Some of the people that are associated with him do the same trade 10 wide. So a lot of times you're going to see that. So 60-50, 65. So here's your IC zone. Technically 55-60. Market maker short, customer long, could be magnetic, could get pulled back down here. We got shorts right above us. So here's that. And on the bottom was all the way down to 59.85. All the way down to 59.85. And we have some stuff here at 6,000. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll talk about pins. All right, so on top, I said 60.25, and of course, predictably, there's no juice up there. So one thing I like to do is I put in a wish trade. So let's just say I'll do a 20 wide wish trade. It says a quarter. I'll put one in for 50 cents. If they give it to me, God bless America. If not, then they don't. Well, and I see a working order. Something is wrong here. I don't know. I'll get back there and fix it later. Oh, working orders is here. Okay, there it is. Um, on the bottom, well, we want to be below 5,900 if we can, 6,000 if we can. We also know we have these supportive flows from down here where the whale is at 85. See, I was clicking on the bottom. I went way further away. Um, we know we have supportive flows coming from here. That's volume. Let's change this to open interest, just so you can see. Here's where the whale is parked. We know we have, as it goes down, market makers have to buy. So I would join in the party down here if there's juice, and there's not. But 95 below the round number, 75, 60 cents, that's not bad. That's not bad. Put 2 in at 45. Why don't I see it working? I think I might have that. So I'm going to look down here. Below 6,000, I'm willing to take a flyer. If I wanted to play some kind of broken wing fly kind of game, maybe I would do something like this. I got 2 of those, and then pair that with something like a 25, 20. Only one of them. 75. This just gives me something to play with down here, a blocker or whatever. I could always add another one here. Buck 35 credit, buck 30 credit. I could even move it up a little if you're a chicken. Buck 30 credit, something like that. That's cute. I like it. I'm sending it in. Okay, so that's how I roll. Most normal people don't roll that way, and that's fine. But let me just go back. The conservative kind of iron condor would probably be somewhere close to down here. We know we have that gamma support at 6,000. We'll call it your garden variety 10 wide. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. Your garden variety 10 wide. We're going to say we have some confidence in the 60-10, and we have some confidence in the 60-40. And remember, we still have to get through this. So we got a lot of layers to get through. So the conservative version would be something like that for what does that give you? Conservative version might be something like this. Wow. For 55 cents, if you like more credit, you can go up a little bit or make it wider. And on top, let's just go with let's just say a 10 wide like this, 65 cents on top, a 10 wide on the other way. Let's just say 60-10 is a bridge too far. Let's go something like this. That doesn't really add much juice. I would put them in separately probably. I don't try and get the same premium on each side. I go where I feel safe, not based on premium. That's not horrible. Something like that. And that's kind of what I would do. And when it comes showtime, that's when I'll put in the actual trade. Those trades I put in at noon when I'm live or whatever. I show my trades, what happened, what didn't happen. Normally they're closed by then. I put in 50% buy to close, or if it's a long, I put in a price to get out at, and normally I'm gone. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Like and retweet and all that stuff. Come on, folks. Let's go to PIN. Let's go to Charm. And now we have our daily pin contest. So where's my boy Kappa? Kappa is that's right. Yeah, thanks, Richard. Yeah. Richard was helping me out with some of the subscribers asking some questions. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate your help. You've been a big help. I haven't given him a shout out, but he's been kind of helping me along behind the scenes with little things, little techie things, and all that sort of thing. All right, so let's just kind of make a wide path to begin with, and we'll zoom in on the probable. All right, so now we're floating around here, and so one possible pin would be by the between the 90 and here. The other possible pin is kind of where we are, below the 80.75. Should the whale get saved right below 50 in the 60-50 zone? Should the Mideast heat up? Trump is meeting in Europe. Maybe Trump says something to piss people off in Europe. I know that's highly unlikely for Trump to open up his mouth and say things to alienate people. But let's just say hypothetically he does that. Maybe that causes a reaction. Maybe Powell says something, and in Congress, he's testifying in front of Congress. That might say something. And if I have it correct, and I think I do, today is in Congress in front of the House, and tomorrow I think is in front of the Senate. The House tend to be more cowboyish, and the House tend to ask kind of crazy headline grabbing algo-y questions. You have more extreme people on both sides of the aisle, and so they're going to tend to ask these questions that are going to elicit a response, and sometimes the algos respond to the question, not the answer, whatever. And so, who knows? I don't know. That's just part of the quant tuition that you kind of know in the background that this is going on. And if you see a crazy candle, you ask yourself, what happened? And you just kind of look at the levels, see if you find something on Twitter. If not, finding the news flow helps, but doesn't really matter because the levels matter. Yesterday we had the Iran attacking our bases with 17 missiles that brought us down to 59.40-ish, but the levels held. So potato, how much the news matters. Okay, so that's it. So with that said, let's get some pins, and then I'm going to go to Valsig's class, Valsig's morning meeting. Anybody? Pins. Give me a pin. All right, I'm not getting any audience participation here. Thank you. 60-60. Ooh, interesting place to put it. Right on top of the IC whale. For extra credit, does the IC whale get skewed? Is it like right at 60-60 so he gets max loss? Or is it 59 so he gets a penny grace period? Whoa, 60-30. Oh my God, we got a down goes Fraser in the house. 60-30. He gets grace. Okay. So he's showing him some mercy. 60-50. Okay. 60-50. Now, nice round number. Not that I get to choose what I would like, obviously, but I would like that too. That's a nice number to work with going forward. We have a round number. We know what's going to happen. We have 50 points on either side. That keeps us within the range. There's a lot of institutions parked there. I would love that. Oh, speaking of which, not that this has anything to do with that, here's the expected move chart weekly, and you see we kind of, everybody knows we've been in this range. We've been respecting the expected move for weeks. So RV has been less than IV. Realized volatility has been less. Right now, we're right up here. Here's the top of the straddle from last Friday. Last Friday at the close, here was where we were. Oh, wow. 27? I don't know. When I took my pencil out, I came up with 26. I'm going to have to, I have to check your work. Show me your math. I'm being facetious. I'm a smartass. And so is he, obviously. Um, that's cute. I like that. Um, so here was the straddle. And you know, gun to my head, I don't know about today because, you know, we, like here, we overcut and closed within. You know, I'm not going to bother, giving you a history lesson. But, you know, there are times where we just blow through it. Like here, we blew through it, but we closed right on it. You know, here we almost undercut it and we closed in it. Here was one of those breakouts, you know, May into OPEX, and we just kind of ran. But, and those are going to happen, especially when vol is all screwy. So, again, gun to my head, do we close the week at 6,100 or lower? You know, I'm not so convinced yet. Whoa, we got a 6,000. So 6,000, just to, let's do the arithmetic here. So 6,000, that's 70 points down from here-ish. That's whatever it is, for government work, a 1 point something expected move, 1 point whatever move. And the expected move for today is 37 plus or minus. So that'd be 2x the expected move. So that would take IV above 2021. Just giving it some kind of some kind of context of what it would take. Okay. Oh, wait. This is worth putting up here too. 6083, we have a double top. All right, now, nothing wrong with that. Let's take our TA and superimpose it with our gamma and see what we come up with. I'm not an ideologue. Although gamma is my main thing, I'm not going to pretend that price level doesn't exist. And I don't know if I exactly see 6083. I don't know, maybe if I change my time frame a little bit or something. Let's just, for fun. Okay. You know, now these lines become kind of messy. I mean, I see this over here, 6080. I'm not sure where the double top is up there at 6083. Maybe it's just a local double top on a smaller time frame. I don't know. But we could certainly say we got this double topping feature here at 70, whatever it is. So yeah, 6,100. Now 6,100 is not a crazy bet. That is not a crazy bet, a nice round number. If the the algos decide they want to jump there and all us retail people jump in, start buying that OTM stuff, or start buying that convexity trade. And let's look at where the convexity 95, you know, the 20 to the 25 to 15 deltas. Get some volume up here. This matters. On the put side, we get some volume down here near the 50s. You know, if people start jumping on this stuff early, they say, oh, it's cheap crap, let's buy it, whatever. You know, you want to do maybe you think you're ready to call BS on this whole move, and you want to do a fly. Let's just pretend wrong numbers. One. You want to do a fly for $1.50 if people start jumping into stuff here, however wide. Whether we end up there or not, it doesn't matter. Oh, and one more thing that adds a little weight to the 50. Let's not forget, we have a big ass butterfly, big AB, right here at 60.55. 69.05. 69.55. We have somebody there. Look at the numbers. $1.85. That's pretty cheap. That might be worth a lotto. So we have, why am I pointing it out? We have all this right here at 55. Should we break? I know, it would take something to break it. We have a similar trade here at 59.50, a regular 50 wide. So when I'm going to give a fly, I'm going to typically say the center. So I'm going to say a 50 fly with, and then I might say, whatever, 5,900 fly, 50 wings. And you know how wide it is, or 50W, whatever. Just as a shorthand. Okay, that's where we are. I plan to be somewhere else at 9. Apparently it's 9:16. I will be live on YouTube private subscriber-y thing at noon, and then I'll probably go on for 3 or 3:30. My brother will be on the scalping thing then too, and then we'll probably do something at 3 o'clock. Watch your Twitter, watch your wherever you find out about what I'm doing. Watch your YouTube. I'll try and figure out how to schedule it in advance. At like a 3:30, let's play pinball at 3:30. And I think that's kind of how this movie is going to go. Now, one more thing. Of course, I got to do referral links. One. I'll probably get more referral links as time goes by. Referral links, I don't care about the $11 I get if there's a referral. I get, I might average 2 a month. I got $22. I can go to Starbucks. I want to help out guys that I'm associated with, and I have a product that might help you out. And of course, there's my Substack. All right, I'm out of here. See you guys later. Trade safe.